In just a few days' time, we have one of the biggest fights in recent UFC history between Max Holloway and Charles Olivera, with both fighters having such die-hard fan bases who would pick these guys against Francis Ngannou probably. It's hard to find an actual well-thought-out prediction. That's where I come in, bro. The man with the most ball knowledge on YouTube, who called Strickland Hernandez perfectly to save the day. In this video, I'm going to walk you through why, in distinct sections, I believe Max Blessed Holloway is going to put belt to ass on the slightly overrated Charles Olivera and fully cement himself in my mind as a top 10 fighter of all time and worthy of a title shot. But I'll also touch on how Charles could get it done. Now, part 1. The Ilya fights. Although MMA math is a very slippery slope, and I'm not trying to promote it in most cases, but when two fighters have recently been defeated by the same man, it can be a valuable insight to look at how both performed when put in those very similar spots. Obviously styles make fights, but it does show us something. Of course, I'm referring to Holloway versus Topuria and Charles versus Topuria. In Max's fight, we see a lot of good things from Max before getting caught. Spectacular speed and head movement, dancing around shots, and out-voluming Ilya. He was up 2-0 before being put out, and Max was constantly showing a dangerous check hook, which I could see causing issues for Charles in this fight. Max also has spectacular pull counters, which could also absolutely wreck Charles. Those pull counters are a nightmare matchup for a fighter who overextends as consistently as Charles. Max was also peppering the body so well, flicking out body kicks, and if he can do that against someone who's as dangerous coming in as Topuria, I don't see why he wouldn't be able to be comfortable throwing body kicks pretty much constantly on Olivera. That's going to slow him down and also interrupt his wrestling later on in the fight. Now looking at Charles's fight versus Ilya, although it's brief, it proves very important to analyze in the Max Holloway versus Charles fight. This guy does not move his head, bro. It's actually ridiculous. Charles' defensive liability has always been his lack of consistent head movement, and against a precision boxer like Max, that's so dangerous. Ilya was constantly coming over the top and tagging Olivera with shots, busting him up within the first minute of the fight. Then Charles ended up getting completely colded. According to the Ilya fight, and looking at the broader picture of both these men's career, it's clear who's the massive striking advantage here. It's Max. With amazing striking performances against Gaethje, Volk in the second fight, Arnold Allen, and Yair, all of whom are considered elite of the elite strikers, he outstruck them. He has volume for days, can pour it on, or fight a little more passive and calculated. His straight shots are truly a nightmare for most fighters. Holloway is a master of the number one rule of boxing, hit and don't get hit. His check hook should also give Olivera problems, as Charles often finds himself overextending and getting caught. The bodywork of Max is an underappreciated element of his game. He's always snapping body kicks, and if he starts landing those on Charles, Charles's hands will start to drop, and the already weak guard of Olivera will get even weaker, and Max will consistently land his jab. Olivera normally comes out in a very Muay Thai stance where he's bouncing his lead leg, and he's not very tight. His guard is not very tight on his face, and for a precision boxer like Max, he's gonna ping that nose over and over and over again. If this happens, it will be an uphill battle for Charles, although Olivera is no slouch on the feet with his wicked teeps and snappy hooks that can catch even the best of them. This shallow striking game will not be a match for Blessed. Olivera will be hunting for a KO as he always does on the feet, but with the defensive awareness of Max, he frames, he hand fights, he controls range. Plus his great, even though clearly not as good as it used to be, chin. I would be dumbfounded if he gets it. Often, Charles will engage in a give one, take one battle, which is okay against a no offense bro, but it's true, low IQ fighters like Chandler, but against a chess master like Holloway, it just won't work. This guy is too quick on the outside. He was too quick for Topuria for 2 rounds. This guy's lateral movement is insane. If this fight stays standing, I have a strong belief, based on Holloway's speed, timing, and hooks, and Olivera's quite honestly sloppy striking sometimes, that it will be over before the championship rounds via TKO by Max. But this sport is called mixed martial arts after all. What if it goes to the ground? Suddenly, this fight becomes far more interesting and could start to shift in Charles' favor. I'm sure that I don't need to explain the grappling excellence of do Bronx to you guys. Whether he's in mount, half guard, or getting punched in the face while on bottom, this man is arguably, if not the most dangerous submission threat in UFC history. He is relentless at attacking the neck for chokes like we saw against Arman, almost getting the win, and is one of the few fighters who legitimately has dangerous limb submissions that even elite grapplers must watch out for. Like we saw with the Tony Ferguson armbar, that would have won in the fight given about 5 more seconds. Once on the ground, he is an underrated pure wrestler as well. He was able to hold down a pure meatball ball of muscle that can wrestle in Michael Chandler in their second fight, and effortlessly destroyed Gamrot in the wrestling, which is no small feat. Gamrot is a extremely underrated wrestler at lightweight, but we're getting off topic. I'm kind of a Gamrot truther. He's an underrated grappler, but whatever. If it goes there and stays there, Max will be in mortal danger, similarly how Charles will be in major trouble in a pure striking match. So you may be asking why this isn't a 50-50 fight. Why aren't the odds 100 plus 100 plus 100? Why am I making this video about Max winning? It's because every fight starts on the feet, guys. And Charles must close the distance to try for a takedown, and I don't trust the entries of Charles, and I do trust the brick wall takedown defense of Max, the jab of Max, and the bodywork of Max. He has an 83% takedown defense and has fought Volk and Ortega. Entries are maybe the most important part of grappling in MMA. If you've ever seen a fight where someone clearly has a massive grappling advantage yet doesn't use it, and you're sitting there and you're thinking, why doesn't he just grapple? It's probably an issue of distance management and entries. Charles's plan is to potentially eat a few shots to get the takedown, pin you up against the fence, and work you down. Max has elite lateral movement, which could allow him to circle out of dangerous spots along the cage. If anyone just watched David Martinez versus Cheeto, that fight shows the power of great lateral movement. In Max's career, he has never really been held down for extended periods of time, and I don't expect that to start after how long he's been at the top of the game and at 155. When Ilya took him down, he calmly defended the neck and didn't risk anything, and worked his way up. All are perfect ways to not get caught by Olivera. I expect if this fight goes to the ground, Charles will threaten chokes and limb submissions, but the composure and experience of Max will allow him to work up, or worst case, just stay in a body lock, man. And kill 2 minutes and live to see another round? Next round starts on the feet, try to mess up Charles. I think that could be a very effective strategy for Max. But with the takedown defense of Max, I don't think Charles will be able to get it there consistently anyway. Holloway is going to look to weaponize his cardio in a major way in this fight, and I don't see why he wouldn't be able to. At 155, Max might have the most cardio in the division. He is a volume machine. He'll outstrike you even when he's fighting more conservative. It doesn't matter the pace that the fight is being put at, Max is going to stick with it. I see him almost as a striking Marab in a way. Max definitely has the advantage in the cardio. Although Olivera is no slouch, you don't really see this guy gassing out, but we're talking about alien level cardio when it comes to Max Holloway, so he could definitely flex it in this fight. Experience in big moments and 5-rounders is another thing to look at, but with both these guys, they probably have the most championship and 5-round experience in the UFC, so it'll be pretty even there. So I've pretty much laid out why I think Max Holloway is going to win. Because of the Ilya fight, because of the striking, because of grappling, because of the cardio. I think Max Holloway is going to win here. Prediction would be first round, Charles kind of has him on the ground, maybe gets 2.5 minutes of control. They're both not sweaty yet. Charles finds a takedown and holds him there. 10-9 Charles in the first. The second round, Max Holloway starts to find his distance, starts peppering that jab, stuffs a few takedowns, wobbles Olivera. 10-9 Max in the second. And then in the third, Max Holloway's going to pour it on, TKO up against the cage, and that's all she wrote. All right, thanks for letting me ramble about Max versus Charles. I feel pretty confidently about this. Also on the fight, I like Rob Font. I don't know. I don't really think Raul Rosas has what it takes right now. I really like RoboCop. I really like Michael Johnson. And RDR versus Kaio is kind of a toss-up to me, but I think Kaio should get it done. We saw RDR struggle on the feet against Robert Whittaker, who's not even really a middleweight, guys, if we're being honest. Kaio's super long, super big, has the frame of a middleweight. We saw him have a competitive striking match with Nasruddin Imavov. If this stays standing, it's not going to be close. I'm sure Caio Bravo can figure out a way to dodge a step-in knee. And as for the grappling, I think we just saw with Brendan Allen, RDR is not this monster on the ground, but it will be interesting. I'm going to go with Kaio. But thanks for listening, guys. See you next time.